Hello and welcome to my video. I'm your host Adrian Coppens. This is a follow-up to my uniforms of the Napoleonic Wars. Um, so there was actually 7 coalitions that cover the Napoleonic Wars. The first one overlapped with the French Revolution, so the coalition ran from 1792 to 1797, and the French Revolution was 1789 to 1799. It was the Kingdom of France until the Revolution, and then it became the Republic of France after the abolition of the monarchy. So the French allies were the Bavarian Republic, which was 8 states of the Netherlands, and it became a sister republic of France in 1795. And then it became part of the French Empire under Napoleon. Other nations allied with France were Spain, which provided naval support. This was due mostly because of their own naval power and their own rivalry with Great Britain. Nations allied against the Kingdom of France and the Republic of France were, of course, Great Britain, the Dutch Republic, until it was replaced by the Bavarian Republic. So, of course, after the fall of the French monarchy, a lot of these European nations wanted to bring back the Bourbons. And they were, a lot of the monarchies were a little worried about being replaced by other republics and revolutions. Those, after the fall of the monarchy, those loyal to the crown joined against the Republic of France, and they joined again the British and Portugal and Spain for a time. The Papal States, Italy, were against them, as well as the Austrian and the Holy Roman Empire, mostly because, of course, Marie Antoinette's family were rulers of the empire. The Holy Roman Empire were parts of Austria, Prussia, Hanover, Saxony, Bavaria, Hesse-Kassel, were also against the French. So the first coalition, there was 100 battles and sorties and sieges and stuff that happened. So there's some key dates. Was in 1791, after the revolution, there was a declaration by Austria and Prussia against the French Revolution, trying to maintain, the status quo of the day. And there was the Battle of Valmy, which Prussia led the coalition, trying to, stop the abolition of the monarchy and curb the revolutionary ideas of France. In 1793, the execution of Louis XV and Marie Antoinette took place, which really started off a serious coalition of the war. A lot of the campaigns happened 1792 to 1795 was a campaign in Flanders, which created the Bavarian Republic and a sister state of France, and they annexed large parts of Austria and Liege. So there was also various campaigns in the Rhine, which was lower southern Germany. 1792, 1793 to 1794, 1795, and 1796. So again, those were parts of the Holy Roman Empire, Austria, Swabia, and then other parts of the Rhine, such as Saxony and Bavaria. And then France also invaded or had many incursions into Switzerland in 1792, and then as well in 1792 to 1797 they attacked Italy, which led to the partitioning of the Republic of Venice between French and Austria. as well as several French client states that were formed due to treaties. In 1793 to 96, there was the Mediterranean campaign, which was a mostly naval campaign with their allies of Spain. 1793 to 1795, they had a war in the Pyrenees, which pitted the French Republic against Spain and Portugal. Spain ceded some territory. So a lot of these victories for France led to a lot of treaties, such as the Treaty of Hague, which was a treaty signed with the Netherlands, and it helped create the Batavian Republic. It also paid France 100 million guilders and gave them a loan of low interest repayments, and it paid for the occupation of French troops until the ending of the war, as well as dismantling a lot of their forts. There was a Treaty of Paris signed with the Kingdom of Piedmont Sardinia, which gave French the control of Savoy and Nice, as well as allowed the French army to pass unhindered towards Italy. In 1795, there was 3 separate peace treaties with Prussia, Spain, and Hesse-Kassel, which kind of helped end the coalition. And it also, gave them some troop exchanges and stuff. And then Treaty of Toledo in 1797, which was a treaty with the Papal States, and France made major gains. They got money back. They invaded with 9,000 French soldiers that gave the Pope no choice but to settle, and it paid them 36 million livres, as well as gave France control of a lot of territory that they called the Cispaden Republic, that again was a sister republic of France that gave them, a lot of land and troops. And it also, part of the treaty was that France could take whatever artwork it wanted from the Vatican and later all of Italy, artwork, historical documents, back to France to put in the Louvre and the Palace of Versailles and all these public buildings, as well as it also made the Rome pay compensation to a French journalist who was murdered by a group of Romans after he had insulted the Pope. And finally, the last treaty was in 1797 with Napoleon himself. It ceded more territory to France, and it really was the end of the first coalition against Napoleon and France. And it was the first coalition really reorganized Europe, and it expanded the powers of France, and especially Napoleon, who during this time had risen quite rapidly through the ranks of military and to the government, and led eventually to himself proclaiming himself emperor of the Empire of France. So I hope you enjoyed this video and all the information. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next video about the second coalition.